Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan, and I just want to say bear with me because I'm using a new computer. So I'm working my way through using all the tabs with my short story and then following what I'm supposed to say in this video. But like I said, my name's Dylan, and my chosen genre for creative writing usually is actually more poetry, and then I have written a few short stories, but I mainly have written a lot of poetry. That's something that I've always enjoyed writing and felt like was something good for me to write just for myself. A little bit about my background is it's interesting. I'm taking this more as an elective, so I'm not an English major or anything. Um, but it's still interesting to say that because I'm getting my master's in communications at Denver. And what brought me here is it's a very flexible program, and I actually work almost full time now. I'm a teacher at a boarding school, an all boys boarding school. So it's interesting because I teach English, but I didn't have that wasn't my undergrad degree. My undergrad degree was actually in communications also, but I kind of came about the job in a very random, by chance way. But I've always loved literature, and I grew up. My dad was a teacher of English for 40 some years, so I've been always around that type of thing. And I think if I wouldn't have done something more in the communications field or wanting to get a degree in communications, I would have definitely gotten an English degree and probably became a teacher as my goal in life. But then the funny and interesting thing is that necessarily wasn't my goal, and I was kind of staying away from the idea of teaching. And maybe it was because my dad was a teacher, and I mean, he was a great teacher and he's a great person, but I wanted to do my own thing. But I still ended up being a teacher in some way because at boarding schools, I don't know how it is in Denver, but at boarding schools in Ohio, you just need an undergrad degree in something, not something even close to which you're teaching really necessarily, but it does help to have some classes in what you taught. And so in my undergrad degree, I did take a lot of English classes and writing classes because, as you know, communications, you take a lot of electives for writing, hence why I'm taking this class. And also because I really do want to focus on my writing for myself. I would like to write more short stories and even write eventually like a short novel. A lot of my genres for writing, though, I would say would be I like to do some of the comedy, but also like romantic type things, but not like cheesy, maybe a little bit more like off kilter type things. A lot of relatable to like indie movies and things like that. So I really like doing that type of writing where it's kind of like comedy and it's a human piece, and something where I'll talk about a little bit about some of my favorite writers is like John Steinbeck, because he's a very like, he writes just like his stuff is all about just humans, so it's very, some people might find it dry or something like that, but I love how he can just write about the human, like doing just everyday things sometimes, but make it sound so good. And so a lot of what I like to write has to do with that, like humans doing everyday things and the reality of humans, but adding like that comedy piece and the romance and different things like that. The piece I actually picked out for this class to read is something by Virginia Woolf. And I picked it out because it's very short, but also because I've always enjoyed reading her writing. So this is something that I really enjoy and hope you do if you've never heard of the story. It is called A Haunted House. Whatever hour you woke, there was a door shutting. From room to room they went, hand in hand, lifting here, opening there, making sure a ghostly couple. Here we left it, she said. And he added, oh, but here, Tool, it's upstairs, she muttered. And in the garden, he whispered, quietly. They said, or we shall wake them. But it wasn't that you woke us, oh no. They're looking for it, they're drawing the curtain, one might say. And so read on a page or two. Now they found it. One would be certain, stopping the pencil on the margin, and then tired of reading. One might rise and see for oneself, the house all empty, the door standing open, only the wood pigeons bubbling with content and the hum of the threshing machine sounding from the farm. What did I come in here for? What did I want to find? My hands were empty, perhaps it's upstairs then. The apples were in the loft, and so down again the garden still as ever, only the book had slipped into the grass. But what they had found it in the drawing room, not that one could ever see them. The window panes reflected apples, reflected roses. All the leaves were green in the glass. If they moved in the drawing room, the apple only turned its yellow side. Yet the moment after, if the door was open, spread about the floor, hung upon the walls, pendant from the ceiling. What? My hands were empty. The shadow of a thrush crossed the carpet. From the deepest wells of silence, the wood pigeon drew its bubble of sound. Safe, safe, safe. The pulse of the house beat softly. The treasure buried, the room. The pulse stopped short. Oh, was that the buried treasure? A moment later, the light faded, out in the garden then. But the tree spun darkness for a wandering beam of sun, so fine, so rare, coolly sunk beneath the surface. The beam I sought always burned behind the glass. Death was the glass, death was between us, coming to the woman first, hundreds of years ago. Leaving the house, sealing all the windows, the rooms were darkened. He left it, left her, went north and east, saw the stars turned in the southern sky, sought the house, found it drop beneath the downs. Safe, safe, safe. The pulse of the house beat gladly, the treasure yours. The wind roars up the avenue, trees stoop and bend this way and that. Moonbeams splash and spill wildly in the rain, but the beam of the lamp falls straight from the window. The candle burns stiff and still, wandering through the house, opening the windows, whispering not to wake us. The ghostly couple seek their joy. Here we slept, she says, and he adds, kisses without number, waking in the morning, silver between the trees. Upstairs in the garden, when summer came, in winter snow time, the doors go shutting far in the distance, gently knocking the pulse of the heart. Nearer they come, cease at the doorway, the wind falls, the rain slides silver down the glass. Our eyes darken, we hear no steps beside us. We see no lady spread her ghostly cloak. His hand shield the lantern. Look, he breathes, sound asleep, love upon their lips. Stooping, holding their silver lamp above us, long they look and deeply, long they pause. The wind drives straightly, the flame stoops slightly. Wild beams of moonlight cross both floor and wall, and meeting stain the faces bent, the faces pondering, the faces that search the sleepers and seek their hidden joy. Safe, 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 the heart of the house beats proudly. Long years, he sighs. Again you found me. Here, she mutters. Sleeping in the garden, reading, laughing, rolling apples in the loft. Here we left our treasure. Stooping their light lifts the lids upon my eyes. Safe, safe, safe. The pulse of the house beats widely. Waking, I cry, oh, is this your buried treasure? The light in the heart. So I hope you all enjoyed that short story. If you've never heard it before, like I said, as a lot of you know, if you like literature at all, Virginia Woolf was an amazing writer. And I think she's very good at doing that thing that, like I talked about, John Steinbeck, just writing about a person, just like an everyday person going through something in life. And with this story, it's really cool because, as you see, it's like this ghostly couple who used to live in this house, and they're looking over this couple that lives in the house now. And I always find that to be just like a really interesting like twist and touch to the story, because they're remembering things that they were together in the house, and they see this couple in the house, and it brings back all these memories. And it also shows that they found each other back in their safe place, which was in their house and in their bedroom. And I just feel like, that's just such an amazing, like, romantic story without being, like I said, necessarily cheesy. It's more of this, like, unique coming together of how so many different people can be, like, in love in this one house. And also, I feel like the house in itself is kind of like a character in the story. So there's, like, the two ghosts, and then also the other couple in the house. And then the house is kind of a character because they remember being there and being together there. So I hope you enjoyed my introduction video. I really look forward to being in this class because I'm sure a lot of you have written more short stories than I have written a lot more stories in general or pieces, and I really am looking forward to getting some feedback from you and from the professor. I'm just very excited about this because, like I said, even though I didn't know I was going to be an English teacher, I'm so excited about getting this opportunity, and I'm adding more classes even next semester to my class load that I have because I was just part-time at the beginning of the year, but now I'm adding a couple more interactive classes, so I'm hoping eventually even to be able to teach a short story class if I continue to teach here at the boarding school. And I don't know if I said this earlier, I teach high school boys because it's an all-boys boarding school, and so I teach only seniors, actually. I teach because I teach Euro Lit, so it's just seniors that I mainly have, and with a few of my new classes that I'm going to have, I'll have a couple underclassmen, like juniors mainly, because a few of the classes I'm teaching are mainly focused still towards the upperclassmen. But I hope everyone had a great holiday. I'm actually taping this on New Year's Eve, so I hope everyone has a good start to the new year. And if you heard the dog barking, I have a new puppy, and also I have a 6-month-old. So I have an 8-week-old puppy and a 6-month-old. So me and my husband are pretty crazy. But at the same time, we have a pretty busy, fun house. So like I said, I'm looking forward to hearing everybody else's video, and it's nice to meet everyone. Thank you.